Greetings, my lovelies. Hi, it's Emmy. Welcome back to another Emmy Eats. Today, I'll be eating Germany. If you've missed my previous Emmy Eats Germanys, I should put the playlist here and here so you can check them out. So this beautiful package was sent to me by Mr. J and Mr. M all the way from Germany. They live in Marburg, and they sent me this wonderful package, and I am so excited to eat it. They've been so patient to wait for it. I actually received it in early January, so I'm a little bit tardy. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I have is this beautiful cake. Can you see this? And I wish you could smell it. Cinnamon, maybe some clove in there. So this is from the best cake shop in Marburg, and this is called a Scottish fruit cake. Looks lovely. Look at the side of that. I've had an Irish fruit cake once before. In my Emmy Eats Ireland Part 2, I believe, that was sent to me by Donal. I tasted an Irish fruit cake, and that was delicious. I believe it was called a Barnbrock, but this looks a little bit different. This looks layered, while the one that Donal made looked more like a loaf. But this looks lovely. I'm hoping this is similar to a US fruitcake in the sense that it has some booze in there as a preservative. So it is fairly dense and it smells marvelous. I'm gonna take a slice from the middle right here. It looks more cake-like. Okay, guten Appetit. And that's actually quite nice. A little bit dry, but the flavors are really, really intense. Got a really bright citrus flavor to it, and I think that might have to do with this layer right here. There might be a marmalade in there. So there's two types of cake in there. The middle cake tastes more like a kind of pound cake, but not as rich, and the bottom and top cake portions taste more like gingerbread, really spiced. There's also some nutty crunch in there as well, some almonds and maybe some walnut. Then you got little pieces of sticky fruit in there as well, candied citrus and some candied cherries. Delicious. A lot going on in there in terms of flavor, but very, very reminiscent of Christmas in terms of the spice and the warmth. It's delicious, but I'm sure fresh would be absolutely marvelous. Next, let's try this. Valmeister. Valmeister is translated into woodruff. In Latin, it's called Galium odoratum, and it grows deep in the woods. And they suggest 2 teaspoons and a glass full of water. So if you ever saw my Emmy Eats IKEA video, the first one I did, that's where I learned about syrups. I tasted a rhubarb syrup and I didn't know it was supposed to be diluted, so I just had it straight up and it was terrible. And then a lot of people very kindly informed me that it was supposed to be diluted. Typically here in the US, we don't have bottles of syrup that you regularly buy at the supermarket and mix with glasses of water. We have Kool-Aid, we have drops that you can add flavor to water, but we don't have this tradition of syrups that you purposely buy to make your own beverages. So I didn't know. But in Europe, I understand that it's quite popular and very understood that a syrup is used to make beverages. I think it was in my Emmy Eats Germany, maybe part 6 video, where I had a Valmeister candy before, but I've never had a drink of it before. So this makes 8 liters and it says 1 to 5 syrup. Ooh, it's actually not as thick as I thought it was going to be. But look at that color. It's almost like absinthe in color. It's beautiful. It smells sweet and almost vanilla. All right, let's give that a taste. Proust. Wow. Isn't it interesting how you have these automatic associations with color? So when I see a color like this, I think of lime, I think of wintergreen. So I was expecting something kind of minty, but it's actually more like cream soda. Yeah. Of course, this is not effervescent at all, but it has those kind of sweet vanilla flavors, but it's brightly green. Yeah, not bad. I would love to actually taste a leaf of this fresh. Perhaps someday when I visit Europe. Next, let's try this. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? This is a giant Ritter Sport bar. And it is the golden edition. So this is about 4 times the size of a typical Ritter Sport bar. Look at it. It's as big as my face. I love opening Ritter Sports like this. Look at this. It opens so marvelously. Look at that. These pieces are the same size as you would find in a typical Ritter Sports bar, except it is 4 times the size. So I'm going to break off a piece. It snaps beautifully. It looks like a dark chocolate, but it's not so dark. Oh, it smells great. Really nice. This is a really delicious semi-sweet chocolate. Not milk chocolate. It has some of the characteristics in terms of texture to milk chocolate, but has a nice intense flavor that you would find in a dark chocolate without the bitterness. Delicious. Next, let's try this. And this is Edel Marzipan. Marzipan is a sweet almond paste that's a confection that you typically see around the holidays. It's shaped into all kinds of cute little shapes and hugely popular. It's called a Schluckwerder Edel, and this is a chocolate bar filled with marzipan. So here it is. Make sure you guys can see my little torpedo of chocolate. Marzipan. Okay, look at that. Cuts beautifully. Very nice. Strong almond extract flavor in there. If you've ever had almond cookies, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The texture of the paste is smooth and slightly chewy. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the inside of a coconut macaroon. You've got a little bit of that kind of egg whitey texture to it. Very strong almond aroma. And then you've just got the little bit of dark chocolate that kind of coats everything. That gives it a nice little crackle and just a slight little bitterness to go with a very sweet almond paste. Delicious. Next, let's try these little guys. These two came from the cake shop in Marburg, and these are little gingerbread cookies. These each look like they have a gingerbread base with some sort of topping on top. I'm gonna taste this one right here. That is rich, and I am surprised these are still delicious. The top is a little milk chocolate ganache, still creamy and moist, and the bottom is a really heavily spiced gingerbread, very similar to the cake in that sense. Very spiced and has a little bit of citrus in there. In terms of flavor, very festive tasting. You've got that spice, citrus, and rich chocolate ganache on top. There's a little bit of dried fruit or something on top that gives it a little bit of a crunch and sourness, and a little bit of salt, I think, too. Delicious. This one looks a little bit lighter in color. I'm not sure what that filling is. That is a very intense nut paste on top of there. Maybe hazelnut. It almost tastes like peanut butter in terms of its just really strong, intense, nutty flavor. Again, goes really, really well with the spiced gingerbread below. That's slightly chewy and heavily, heavily spiced. Wow. I'm guessing this one might be marzipan. Let's see. I'm going to guess that this is a kind of a citrus marzipan on top of that same gingerbread base and coated with a bitter dark chocolate as opposed to this milk chocolate here. Wow. 3 separate and very unique takes on gingerbread. Delicious. This charming package, Opifera, and these are little mints. How cute. They almost look like butter mints, kind of similar pillow shape. These look like they've been stamped rather than kind of just snipped. Great pepperminty flavor. It's sort of like a Starbright mint that meets an Altoid in terms of texture. It's more chalky, but it's not as intensely pepperminty as an Altoid. Delicious, nice and cool, refreshing, and very strong pepperminty flavor. Great. Look at the size of this chocolate bar. Can you believe that? Look at that. And this is an Oreo Milk Bar. I've never seen an Oreo chocolate bar. I did read in Canada they're going to do a mashup of a Cadbury cream egg with an Oreo filling, which will just be insane. So this is already broken, so you can see inside what it looks like. And it's a bit of like a reverse Oreo because you've got the cookie in the middle and then you've got the cream around the outside, and then of course you've got chocolate for extra decadence. It's pretty stinking sweet, but it's better than the fudge-coated Oreos. I had those in one of my Oreo cookie tastings. If you missed those videos, I'll put the link there as well. And that one was just overkill. And this is a bit overkill too, but this is marketed as a candy bar, so somehow it makes it a little bit more acceptable. Still very, very sweet. Very distinctive Oreo flavor because you've got the Oreo cookie in the middle. The Oreo cookie seems to be a little bit more ground up, so it's not as like crunchy. But if you like those fudge coated Oreos, you probably love this because I feel like the chocolate in this one's a little better quality. But just one little square is plenty for me. All right, my gut is officially busted. I've consumed way too much sugar. But thank you so much, Mr. M and Mr. J, for kindly sending me all these treats from Germany. It was absolutely delightful. And I hope to visit your country someday. I really, really want to visit Germany so very badly, particularly Berlin. I've heard so many marvelous things about it. So yes, someday soon, I hope. Thanks you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media so you can see a little bit behind the scenes about these videos. And yeah, I shall see you in my next video. Toodaloo. Take care. Bye.